Hello, my friends. My name is Carly Gates. I'm a Golden Director with Moxie & Co. We are a millionaire mastery organization. I am so excited to be here and training with you today on how I have figured out how to maximize the impact of my small, manageable choices when it comes to social media marketing, social media funneling in general. Okay. So, we're going to be talking about how to streamline your social media platforms so that the work that you're doing throughout your day doesn't feel as overwhelming, and so that you can actually extend your reach beyond just your personal Facebook page. So, let's take a look at some of the different platforms that we're going to be discussing. This may seem like a lot, especially if you are new to network marketing, but I am going to tell you that downloading these 6 apps is going to be an important step in you going all in and swan diving into this business. And the steps that I'm going to tell you about here in the rest of this presentation, the rest of this training, are going to make it so you're thinking, oh, well, that's not that hard. If I'm posting on one of these apps, if I'm going to get it to auto post into the others, I'm still only having to do maybe one thing. So I'm going to show you how to do it, but here are the apps that you need to have downloaded on your device, ready to go, and you're going to want to spend some time getting familiar with them. Number one, Facebook. I put that on there first because I know that that tends to be the one that we are most comfortable and confident utilizing. It's been around the longest, and maybe that's how you got connected with your sponsor in the first place. The second app is Instagram. This one I also intentionally put towards the start of the list because it's been around for a while, and I feel like a lot of us millennial girlies especially are very confident with at least the basic navigations of Instagram. And when I talk with the folks that I mentor, a lot of them mention that they like the editing options for short form video on that app as well. I included Pinterest because this is, you guys, it lives in my brain rent free that we are underutilizing Pinterest as network marketers. It is kind of like the last frontier, it seems, where that is really a space where people are they're searching for specific answers to their skincare, hair care, makeup, wellness needs, and we're not on there enough. So I'm going to talk to you guys today about how we're going to get our presence built up on Pinterest and maybe have the opportunity to build the community of your dreams there. The next one, this is a newer one, Lemon8. If you haven't downloaded it, go and download. It is a really fun app. I would say that it's kind of if Instagram and Pinterest had a baby, you would end up with Lemon8. Okay. Lemon8 is definitely a search specific, kind of like a learning, how else could you describe it? Like a recipe book of sorts for all of life's needs. And you get to decide kind of what your vibe is, what your interests are. And Lemon8 is going to push that content towards you. There's another reason that I really want to talk about Lemon8 today. And that is because I know a lot of folks will say that they need to figure out Canva. I need to figure out Canva. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. Or maybe if you've been around as long as I have, when it comes to network marketing, Pic Collage has been on your phone for a very long time. No hate, no shame. I loved Pic Collage. I used it for a very long time until I figured out Canva. And I think that Canva does have some elevated elements that we should really probably be spending more time on. This is where it gets good. Lemon8 is a free app and it has so many templates and very fun fonts and stickers and so many folks that are creating content that is so beautiful that you could take, tweak, recreate. Okay, that you will feel so inspired by that app. I know it. So if you are someone who on your to-do list, it has said, figure out Canva, take a Canva course, whatever, maybe sideline that. Okay, maybe wait on that, download Lemon8 and see if the editing features in there make sense to you. Okay, because they are a little bit Pic Collage like, but definitely look more like Canva. Okay. Next is TikTok. If you aren't on that app, you should be. There is a lot of really cool organic growth happening on there. And depending on the content that you're pushing out, you may not see it, but I see it. I'm talking a lot to folks who are wanting to build their social media presence. Okay. And here's what's happening on that app. Okay. TikTok Shop is blowing up. We all know it. A lot of you are on it, or maybe you're one of the folks on there that's running because you want TikTok Shop access. I think it's great as an affiliate income. But here's the benefit of you getting into that conversation, participating in that conversation, and then still sharing primarily about your pharmacy business and talking about how anybody can do it. Anybody can sign up whenever they want. Anybody can earn 50% commission. You're going to capture a lot of attention. And there are real people, specifically real women, noticing that they could make income there. And they're fine with being salesy on TikTok. There's still a lot of folks who are not okay with being salesy on Facebook and Instagram because that's where their people are and they're maybe a little insecure. So you're going to want to get on TikTok if you're not already. The next one is YouTube. And I know this one seems a little, you're like, why do I need to be on YouTube, right? That's for like gamers and grandpas. I think of my sons and I think of my stepdad. They're on YouTube all the time searching up things. And I don't spend a lot of time on the platform, but there are a lot of people who do, and a lot of people who go there to learn very specific things. We're going to talk today about how you can strategically use YouTube, specifically YouTube Shorts, to grow your presence. And that might be an area where you do niche down a little bit more and you share a very specific type of content. And we'll talk about that when we get to that point. But you're going to want those 6 apps, okay? Now, here's where the funneling comes in, okay? And you're going to want to screenshot this screen or maybe drop it into your notes. But when you are setting up your socials and you're getting everything downloaded, you need to make sure that the connections are on point because this is where you're going to have the cross post happen, okay? Let's say that you live primarily on Facebook. If you live primarily on Facebook, you have to make sure that you are connected to your Instagram. Set it up so that everything that you post on Facebook gets pushed to Instagram. All of your reels should go to Instagram. All of your photo posts should go to Instagram. Keep in mind, if you do a lot of text, that won't go, what you share won't go over there, but that's also okay because Instagram's aesthetic is different than Facebook's, but they have done the work for you by saying we're only going to take some of what you share, and it's going to work out perfect for you. You can also set it up so that your stories go to both of the platforms. I personally like to edit in Instagram best, but that's fine. However you want to do it, if Facebook is just your home base, that's what you tend to open up most, make sure that you are at least connected to Instagram, okay? That way, every time you post to Facebook, you're also posting to Instagram and you didn't even have to think about it. Number 2, Instagram. You're going to want to make sure that your Instagram is connected to your Pinterest. Here's the coolest part about this. When you create, anything that goes to your Instagram is automatically going to go to your Pinterest. So let's say that you live primarily in Facebook, but you did the work and you set up your Facebook to connect to your Instagram and you set up your Instagram to connect to your Pinterest. All you have to do is post to Facebook and you are now present on 3 different platforms. You are now on Instagram and you are now on Pinterest. The coolest part about the Pinterest connection to Instagram, if you have not done this yet, is that it doesn't link to an outside website. It links back to your Instagram. So anybody on Pinterest who likes the content, who goes back and they say, hey, I want to look at this video or I want to look at this caption. I want to see this person. They're going to be encouraged to follow you on Instagram. So even if Pinterest isn't your home base, it's not where you spend a lot of time, you're getting those people back to where you may spend more time. Okay. Because of this intermediary connection with Instagram, I have changed my focus. Facebook used to be my home base. Now Instagram is my home base. I work from there. I think a little bit more thoroughly or strategically about what kind of content I am pushing out on Instagram because I know it's going to Facebook, I know it's going to Pinterest, and I know that whoever likes what they see on Pinterest and they click to go see where that goes to, right? They're coming back to my Instagram and I want them to connect with me there. I want them to hit follow. I want to be able to create a relationship with them. You will want to go back and check your analytics though on Pinterest because you will also be able to see which ones are performing best on there. And it is often very, very interesting on Pinterest, which ones take off and which ones don't. It's different on every app. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on, how to be strategic or also just what to expect when you're pushing the content out. All right, next we're on to TikTok, okay? TikTok, if you have TikTok, you want to also download Lemonade and you want to connect them. That is going to be a really powerful way for you to get some graphic style imaging onto your TikTok And you can also share your TikToks then to Lemonade. But here's the weird, interesting part about it. Just because you have created something in TikTok, if it has a copyrighted sound, it cannot go on to Lemonade. It'll be muted very quickly. Lemonade will give you the option to put a different sound behind it, but you're going to want to be mindful of that. Okay. So here's what I do, or what I've started doing. If you are thinking of making some sort of a graphic style post, maybe a carousel post, if you will, where it has like 5 different slides, right? And it says like the 5 products that you use for your summer base face, create that on Lemon8, because that's going to perform very, very well. That's the type of content on Lemon8 that people love. Okay. It's very Pinteresty looking. And it just looks beautiful. Okay. So you're going to create it on Lemon8, and it's going to have the graphic. And then after you post it to Lemon8, it's going to ask you on there, one of the options, it's a little slide for you to share to TikTok. You're going to want to share that to TikTok and post it that way. Right now, TikTok is favoring photos, specifically carousel photos. I've noticed it myself in the content that I'm pushing out. The FYP is really liking that. So that is a great way to reuse that. Now, on my TikTok, I have also set up my socials so that it auto saves whatever I push out onto TikTok without a watermark. Okay. That makes it so that I can repurpose that content then, and I can push it onto Instagram. So if I'm working backwards on my images, right? I've created a carousel style post on Lemon8. It's auto posted to TikTok. I take those saved images, I put it onto Instagram. Once it goes into Instagram, it auto goes to my Facebook, and it also auto goes to Pinterest. The coolest part about when you take a carousel post and it auto posts to Pinterest, you actually get that many pins, individual pins to the same post based on that carousel. So if I have 5 products in my summer base face, when someone clicks on that image of even just number 5, it's going to take them to the post, the full post on my Instagram. But I'm going to be showing up on their Pinterest feed 5 times if there are 5 slides to that Lemon8 post. Okay. So that one post, that one creation that I had to make on Lemon8, that one creation has now made a post on Lemon8. It has made a post on TikTok. It has made a post on Instagram. It has made a post on Facebook. And if it had 5 slides, it has now made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pins. So one post on Lemon8 can turn into 9 pieces of content. That's powerful. That's what we're talking about here. Okay. Now, also on TikTok, it's not an auto share, but you can connect your Snapchat to your TikTok. And so after you post on your TikTok, you can go back and you can share it to your Snapchat stories. You can share it to your Snapchat feed. You have a public Snapchat as well. Okay. So if that's the case, that one Lemon8 post now is actually going to end up being 10 pieces of content, 10 touch points for a graphic style post, which is really impressive. Okay. Especially because when you're creating in Lemon8, it's going to come out looking really, really nice. YouTube. I have this one last on the list, okay? Mostly because I don't do a whole lot of long form YouTube unless it is videos like this where I am sharing out my training and I want folks to be able to have access to this, okay? So long form training obviously is going to my YouTube channel, but short form video, the YouTube shorts right now are taking off. A lot of them are. I haven't cracked the code completely, but I will tell you this. Based on what I've done so far, I know for a fact that anything that is original, that is something that is eye-catching, sometimes silly, reels can be repurposed and put onto YouTube very easily, and they are really well liked. But stitching on YouTube Shorts works out really well. And additionally, any sort of short form content, if you have sped up your makeup routine, repurpose that and put it into a YouTube short. People will eat that up over there, okay? But you don't want to make any of your posts that you're repurposing, that you are putting onto these other platforms, you have to make sure that they are watermark free. You have to make sure that that is set up that way, okay? Let's talk about the benefits of cross-posting, okay? When you are doing cross posting, what I just talked about, I'm like, I know I'm long winded. I know that I've shared a lot with you today, but the benefits of cross posting are this. Okay. Number one, if I'm sharing something from Instagram and it auto posts to Facebook and it auto posts to Pinterest, I'm not going to have copyright issues. There's already an agreement in place. Otherwise, those connection points, they wouldn't be allowed. It extends your reach on both accounts because if it does connect back, people who might have found me on Pinterest are now finding me on Instagram. People on Instagram are now finding me on Facebook, and vice versa. It offers you a huge time savings because we just talked about how that one carousel post that I could make on Lemon 8 could turn into 10 pieces of content that are pushed out and extending my reach as a network marketer. My marketing can only go as far as my network. And so if I can push my way out there and have more touch points, I'm going to eventually extend my reach and extend my value, my worth, and my income. Okay. The single platform editing is another really great feature because if you just have to get really good at editing on Lemonade for your photographics and get really good at creating on TikTok or Instagram, you're going to master those editing features much more quickly. But it is going to take time. You're not going to wake up on the right side of the bed and be great at it. You don't need an amazing setup right now. Even for this, I'm standing in front of my window in my living room with laundry behind me. Okay. I'm not telling you that you're going to need perfection to do this, but you do just have to know the basics, the power of good lighting, the power of a good angle, and tidying up. Push the stuff behind you out of the way and just put yourself out there. Okay. There are people who are waiting to see you step out of your shell. Here are a couple of tips, though, for cross posting. As we are stepping into this and we're trying something new, it's important to remember that original sounds, they can usually be cross posted beyond connected accounts. So if you have just like a funny, it's somebody's, okay, somebody's words that they did on their own TikTok and it went viral and people are reusing it. You could put that on Instagram, you could put that on Facebook. It's not going to be muted. It's not going to be, okay. But if all of a sudden you've got the new Cardi B song in the back of your TikTok, you're not going to want to take that TikTok and throw it onto Facebook or Instagram necessarily because it could end up muted. Chances are they're going to tag it, flag it, or let you know like, hey, we heard this song in the background, so now you're on revenue sharing. There's no shame in that. No shame in that, but you will be pushed further out on the waves of the algorithm if right out of the gate, if it is a copyrighted song, find it on the other platform, retag it, and set it up so that it performs best for you, okay? Always assign copyrighted audio when you can. Changing or adding value when you are repurposing beyond connected accounts also helps. So if you are using a TikTok video, but it didn't have like a hook or something on the screen when it starts, add one on Instagram. Instagram's going to see like, oh, this is original now because she edited on the platform and it's going to perform better for you. Same with changing the caption. If you are just copy and pasting the caption, those sites, they all have AI. They know how quickly it should be for you to type up an actual caption. So sometimes just retyping the caption out, changing it up, tweaking it, putting different text on the screen, it can make a huge difference, okay? And then like I said earlier, you're going to want to make sure that you are using content without watermarks. No watermarks, okay? Let's talk about that. Let's dig into it a little bit further. Operation No Watermarks. These platforms use really powerful AI and they are monitoring that the content that's being pushed out is original to them. They want to know that you're not just being willy-nilly, okay? Which we kind of are, but we're being strategic about it, okay? On TikTok, one thing that I love about that platform is you can actually adjust your settings when you're about to post. You can hit more options, I believe is what it is, more options or more settings, and you can slide this little green slide that says you want it to save to your camera roll every time you create on that platform without a watermark. Make sure that's slid and you should be good. Everything will be saved without the watermark, even with the audio, which is an improvement from apps like Instagram. Instagram does not allow you to download anything with audio that does not have a watermark. Okay. You can download the video. So if you did something cute, if you have maybe a transition video or something that could work with a variety of different songs, then Absolutely. Just download it without the audio off Instagram and repurpose. Okay, but you'll have to re-add audio later on, and adding a trending audio from the other platforms is always going to perform best anyways. Facebook is the saving settings are similar on Facebook as they are on Instagram. Okay, but you want to make sure that you don't have the watermark from your other apps when it's being pushed out. All right, let's talk about how to create strategically. I've touched on this a little bit, but I wanted to offer you some examples. Okay, so number one, creating an Instagram. If that is your comfort zone, that's where you like to create, and you're going to create the video, you're going to save the video without the audio, and you're going to add trending audio from the other platforms when you post them out. Okay, when you post that video onto Instagram, it's going to auto share to your Facebook, it's going to auto share to your Pinterest. So you're going to want to make sure that the value is there, or that it is something that's going to draw people to you. Okay, you can then repost that TikTok with trending audio on it to TikTok. Okay, and if it's original content, you'll push it to YouTube. So create one video, and now we're going to have it on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, TikTok, and potentially YouTube. 5. Okay, we're turning one video into 5 pieces of content. That's powerful. You can also push it onto Lemonade if it is something that you think will perform on that app. But reminder that it has to be original audio, or you have to add different audio on that app as well. Okay, because the TikTok audios, they don't all translate over there. Next, let's say you are video creating in TikTok. You're going to create, edit, and post the content on TikTok. That's the one thing I love about it, okay? Because I know that I'm going to get the watermark free option at the end. It's already going to end up in my camera roll, so it's easier for me. I've switched most of my editing over to TikTok for that one purpose. It is so much easier, okay? But once I have posted to TikTok, I'm going to share that to Snapchat. I'm going to get it on my Snapchat stories. If it is original, that original sound, I'm going to share it as it is on Instagram. And that means it's also going to auto post to my Facebook. It's going to auto post to my Pinterest. And if it's also original, I will share that to YouTube as well, okay? When I repost to Instagram, I will make sure that it has trending audio, if necessary, tagged onto it, okay? Because otherwise I may run into issues there. We talked about the photo posts on Lemonade, but let's do this one more time because I think it's so powerful, and we need to go over why this is a really, really great option, especially for those of you who desire to make more graphic style posts. They are going to perform well on Lemonade if you can make them look aesthetic, clean, and professional. Okay, you're going to create the photographic content on Lemonade. You're going to post it to Lemonade using eye-catching text and the graphics and the features that they have on there. You're going to auto share that to TikTok. You are going to save and share that, and you're going to post it to your Instagram. Once you have posted it to your Instagram, it is auto sharing to your Facebook, and it is auto sharing to your Pinterest. The number of slides that you have in your carousel post is going to translate to the number of new pins that you will now have on Pinterest. So if you had 10 slides to that one carousel post, you now have 10 new pins on Pinterest, and they are all going to go back to your Instagram, extending your Instagram's reach. Do we see how this is really powerful? And even if you just use these 3 strategies, or pick which one, where am I going to want to create my videos? Which one seems like it is the most time saving for me? For me, I'm picking option 2 lately. Okay. Option 2 and option 3 are going to be where I'm living when it comes to creation. Then when it comes to posting, my strategy will be maybe changed a little bit depending on the platform that I'm on. Let's talk about strategy. Facebook strategy, okay? Each of these platforms is created by different people for different purposes. That's obvious. Facebook, we all know, is very conversational. It is personal. You need to speak on Facebook like you are talking to a friend. It's really good for storytelling, showing some behind the scenes. It can be a little bit more real, raw, unedited. The behind the scenes is going to take off, okay? You're going to use paragraph spacing and questions to drive comments. You want to have conversation starters on here. Facebook really, really likes longer engagement time, so it can be detailed. You can write long blog style posts. I know for me, that is actually what does or performs the best on Facebook. Here's an example of a caption that would perform well on Facebook. And this is based on my personal brand. So if you know me, if you follow me, it'll make sense if there are some specifics in here. But here's the example, okay? You know I'm picky about what I recommend, but this Matte Master bundle has earned a permanent spot on my bathroom counter. Here's why. Filter-like foundation, skin smoothing primer, all-in-one palette equals a game changer, plus the new SPF drops that are chef's kiss. Do you want the details? Okay. Easy peasy. It's hitting home. I could have a picture of me holding the Matte Master bundle. I could have it on my vanity. I could have it looking cutesy. Shoot, I could even take a picture of the Matte Master bundle, throw that into Chat GPT and say, hey, Chat, please create an image for me that shows this bundle on a beautiful aesthetic bathroom counter. Nobody knows if it's not your bathroom counter, babe. Like if yours is a mess, if it's not looking your best, don't use that image, okay? Don't use that image. But there you go. There's an option for you. Facebook strategy. Let's talk Instagram strategy, okay? This is a mix. This is a mix of relatable storytelling and value, but I will tell you that these do need to be a little bit more aesthetic if you want them to really take off on Instagram. Instagram is like a photo album. It's a scrapbook of sorts. So they want the real, relatable. They want the behind the scenes. They want to know who you are, but they also want it to have the scalloped edges and it to look cutesy, right? So be mindful of that when you are creating an Instagram. That's kind of we have to add a little bit more value for people to take the hook, okay? So for Reels, we're gonna start with a strong hook, a title in the video, the caption gives context, or even provides like a little mini story. If you're using posts, use carousels. They are so powerful. They're trendy right now. And again, we just talked about this. A carousel post is going to translate to that many individual pins down the road when it hits your Pinterest, okay? You're going to use storytelling in the caption, always end with some sort of a call to action. That's what CTA stands for. If you are new to network marketing, if you're new to marketing, CTA is a call to action. So in this case, which one would you try? Try emojis, clean formatting to help scrollers take a pause, to see breaks in your text. The one thing I've always loved about Instagram captions is that you can hit the return key and you have those breaks, and it's easy to read a longer caption on Instagram. If you look at that compared to a TikTok caption, not as easy. TikTok captions tend to be kind of smushed together. They are allowing you to hit the return key now. A little bit in TikTok, but still, I think Instagram's formatting for their captions and their comments is better. An example title for something that would perform well on Instagram would be my go-to summer skin trio and why I'll never gatekeep. Okay, my go-to summer trio or skin trio and why I'll never gatekeep. That says I've got a hook, and then I've also got like a little teaser that there's a story involved with this, okay? An example caption. These 3 products, flawless summer skin without the melt. I've tested them in the 90-degree marina heat, and they pass the vibe check. Who wants a color match, okay? That is going to capture people's attention. Marina life, you guys know I live here in Florida. So we own a marina. I spend a lot of time out in the Florida sun. If I were to have that, people would know like, oh, okay, well, if she wears it outside and doing the work that she's doing, it's got to work. That's an example for Instagram. Let's talk about TikTok. We're making it through. Thanks for sticking it out with me, okay? TikTok strategy. This is short. It's punchy. It needs to be curiosity driven. You need to hook them fast. The first 3 seconds are really the game changer, and that is how the algorithm is going to discern if you are worth pushing out or if they need to switch and start sharing out someone else's content, okay? Using all caps, emojis, shocking statements to grab attention. They all work. You want to think very relatable, funny, also problem solution, which is great for the work that we're doing in this industry, especially the beauty industry. Captions should be 1 to 2 lines max with strategic hashtags. So an example, this primer is literally a blur filter in a bottle. Title, perfect, okay? SPF, blur, matte magic, Farmasi, nailed it. Short, sweet, punchy, to the point. Then we've got makeup hacks, summer must-haves. Fewer hashtags, niched in. Be really specific about why whatever it is you're talking about is the best of the best. Get them to ask the questions without giving all of the details on TikTok. YouTube. I got ahead of myself there with my clicking for a second. YouTube, this one, titles need to have keywords and intrigue, okay? This is a search engine, a video search engine. So you don't want clickbait, okay? But you do want to tease them with some sort of a result. In your description, this is where you can add links, chapters, and mini blog style write-up, including related hashtags, keywords, and both the title and the description. Very, very search engine heavy. Okay. An example title would be Farmasi Mat Master Bundle Review. Worth the hype? Question. People go to YouTube for product reviews and tutorials all the time. They want to know, is this actually worth it? You're going to give them that little blurb. Okay. And then you will offer them an example of, yeah, this works. Example description. Today, I'm sharing my honest thoughts on the new Mat Master Bundle featuring the VFX Foundation, the Blur Primer, and the all-in-one palette, plus a peek at Farmasi's new SPF 50 plus face and body lotions. Super search engine optimized. Think about all of those keywords that may be searched. That's what you want on YouTube. Again, people are going there to answer a very specific question, to learn something specific. So we're giving them many opportunities to find us. All right, last of the platforms for strategy, okay? Lemonade, we talked about this one as being aesthetically driven and informative. I said this is like if Instagram and Pinterest had a baby, it would be Lemonade. It would be. You're going to use longer blog style captions. You're going to tell a story. You are going to give a ton of value. This includes keywords like how to, my top picks, why I love, whatever it is, emojis, formatting. They love cutesy formatting. So all of that is a go over there, okay? You want to use niched hashtags for discoverability. So here are some examples. Matte summer makeup routine, my Farmasi faves that last all day. Searchable, absolutely searchable. An example of a caption. Here would be the start, okay? Here's exactly why I'm used, here is exactly what I'm using to keep my skin smooth and shine free in the Florida heat. And then I would go in and I would break it down and I would list each of those items, kind of like an OOTD, right? You're breaking down each of the pieces in your routine. And you're going to give the people what they want, okay? Give the people what they want. Okay, so now we're looking at this and you're like, okay, Carly, you said that I was just going to be able to reuse. Clearly, I can't. I'm not saying that you can't, okay? You can reuse most of your content as it is, as far as the imaging and the video. But the hook and the actual meat and potatoes, the words that go behind it, you're going to want to strategize a little differently, okay? Minus, I would say, the Lemonade strategy of this one, whatever you create on Lemonade is going to translate beautifully to Pinterest and it's going to translate beautifully to Instagram. Okay. So that's why at the beginning, when I gave you that example, I think switching our focus and creating in Lemonade and pushing it out then to our Instagram, to our Pinterest, to our TikTok, it's going to perform on all of the platforms. Okay. But my Facebook post might not perform super well on Lemonade if I don't have a strong graphic that goes with it. The words, long blog style post will probably perform well, but I'm going to need a really beautiful, eye-catching image. So I'm going to, this is my new strategy. This is where I'm headed in this month. I'm going to switch over to Lemonade and I'm going to start creating in there more and pushing it to my other apps, okay? So where's the easy button? Spoiler alert, there isn't one, and I feel bad about that, but there is always ChatGPT, and so we're going to talk about that quickly. How do I now use AI to benefit me with this strategy? Because maybe you're sitting there going, Carly, you lost me on the third app that you said I had to download. That was too much. It's not, I promise. It is just a new process. It's a strategy. This is all strategy. It's a daily operating procedure, okay? It is something that we need to do to make our business move. And as business owners, we have to be mindful that work is involved. If you don't do the work, You aren't going to benefit from what network marketing could provide for you and your family, okay? So let's talk about Chat GPT. Here's a prompt, okay? So if you have talked with Chat and you've had the conversation, you can say something like this, okay? Chat, please make me a 30-day social media strategy related to my pharmacy business that helps me to fully strategize content from Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Lemonade, TikTok, and YouTube. My Instagram auto-publishes to my Facebook and my Pinterest. When I post to Lemonade, it shares to my TikTok, and I can reuse that content to Instagram. All original video content will be pushed to YouTube. So I'm giving Chat a rundown. These are the strategies. These are the platforms that I'm going to be using, Chat. Now I need you to tell me what I should be posting on what days. When you push that into Chat GPT, you will get a really thorough calendar. Okay. And it's going to tell you what you can post, even ideas on videos or graphics that you could create. Remember, you guys, that when you are creating, you don't have to use photos, you don't have to use videos that are made in real time. Capturing content on the days that you have an opportunity, batching it, just taking a video of you doing your mascara, taking a video of you doing your full face in chunks. You can reuse that same day's content over and over and over again. Very powerful, okay? So don't feel overwhelmed. Start collecting that content when you have a chance. Utilize ChatGPT to give you a strategy, and then get smart about where you're creating so that you can maximize the impact of that one activity. So for me, again, switching all of my graphic style or photo style posts over to Lemon 8, because I know that if I post to Lemon 8, I could get upwards to 10 or more points of contact with possible customers for that content. And that's powerful. Okay. I want to work smarter, not harder. And I hope that you are with me on that. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, you guys. Thank you for watching. Be sure to plug into all of the team resources for more. I am not the only leader that is pushing out content like this, but on the school app, on the team page, speaking with your mentor, having conversations with your sideline sisters, all of those different spaces and places are going to elevate your business, and we are here to cheer you on. I hope you have an awesome day, and I will talk to you guys all soon.